All right, so welcome to the panel presentation. You're going to see people flicker in and out, and that's because they will appear when they are speaking. But again, this is the NFTyThrills examining NFT and predictions, blockchain gaming models. A very title, but it covers pretty much what everyone does, and more importantly, it's about gaming and blockchain in the simplest forms. So we have Patterson, who is a founder of NFTyco, which put out the first sneaker NFT in the marketplace. We have Jomari Peterson, who is a founder of Finite Games. And we have Edwardo Jackson, who is the founder of Cinemadraft. So first question is very easy. It's for you go around the panel and for you to tell your name, your startup, and what is your professional blockchain experience that led you to start your startup and what your startup does. So that's the gist of it. We'll start with Kaz. We'll go alphabetical. So C, E, and J. So we start with Kaz first.
Okay. So hi, I'm Cash, founder of NFTyco. We're the creators of an app called Sneaker Cred, and Sneaker Cred is a way to collect sneakers on the blockchain. So we did a drop about a month ago, and we're still getting sales. We did over 30 ETH in sales and 15 ETH in resales. So that was just for one sneaker variety. We have a blueprint token where if you purchase a token, you can put out your own sneaker with us. We're partnering with other sneaker artisans in the real world to bring actual NFTs and physical sneakers together in the marketplace. And at NFTyco, we're branding out, like branching out into other NFT products like tarot card games, currently. We're also working on like AR and VR interactive marketplace as well for games.
Okay, Edwardo.
Yeah, hi, I'm Edwardo Jackson, founder of Cinemadraft LLC. Cinemadraft, the game, it's basically where fantasy sports meets movies, fantasy sports version of the movies, but instead of picking athletes from teams, you're picking actors from movies and how their movies perform at the real life box office will give you points for your call sheet. And it's a free to play game right now. We are redeveloping our site, relaunching as a decentralized app. And we're also retooling while the theaters are down into a game that gamifies streaming content, Netflix, video on demand, things of that nature. And our crypto tie-in, besides my history with crypto, I used to write about it I wrote about it briefly for Upworthy back in 2013. That's when I kind of really got the bug, got my first Bitcoin like $88 and then really watched the rise take off. And I brought I'm bringing crypto to this project, blockchain to this project. We're using a decentralized app smart contract token. It's a mouthful, but basically there's a popular segment of cryptocurrency and blockchain right now where there are these smart contracts, decentralized apps, which are run autonomously. Once you set it up to go, it does its own thing. And there's an economy based off of a popular ETH-based token called P3D, or the Power of Weekend, which there's an automatic tax for every transaction, and it gets redistributed to the token holders. So it kind of incentivizes you to hold on to your token, get some passive income. And so we want to take that model and adopt it to Cinemadraft.
Okay, Jomari.
Yeah, good day. My name is Jamari. I tell people go away from my name is Jamari Safari is Ferrari. Jamari, it helps like just a little bit, not even a lot. I got into the cryptocurrency space. I was looking into voting actually. I'm trying to figure out mobile and decentralized approaches to voting. Was talking to some cryptographers like David Charm, and he introduced blockchain to me. So that was around the time Ethereum was around its first and second year of adoption. I was digging into it, identified I did my risk assessment of it, and then I saw that quantum computing was a long-term risk for that, so became a co-founder for a project in that area. And as I was doing that, I really was looking at systems design, mechanism design, and kind of how these systems can work within the Ethereum and other smart contract networks. And then as a gamer, I saw that the games were pretty whack in the space. They were just duplication of what was already out in the market, just trying to slap this decentralized component upon it. And I said, okay, is there ways to integrate this decentralized nature, this ability to create scarcity with these digital assets and make fun gameplay? So that's where Finite Games was born out of, because we believe in not just scarcity, but also consumption. And when you put those two things together, you can actually create really unique gameplay experiences. So there's actually this manga and anime called Kaiji, which is about this gambler. And they actually made a movie of this called Animal World or Animal Kingdom on Netflix. Mm-hmm. And it's basically just rock, paper, scissors, except for there's a limited number of cards. And then as the game evolves, you actually consume or use up those cards in each play. So we're trying to build our game experiences like that, where the landscape changes as you continue to play, and every one of your actions impacts everyone else. So that's what Finite Games is building.
All right, I want to build on something that you just said, and we're going to go in reverse order. We're going to go Jomari, Edwardo, and Cass. But something that you just said, I want to know, for the newbie, why can't you just build in regular tech? What is the difference between blockchain in terms of the value to the game player or to you as a game producer? What is the value that blockchain differentiates it from just a regular tech build out of rock, paper, scissors, or Shambo, or a Cinemadraft, or NFTyco, or Sneaker Grade? What is it about blockchain that adds an added value? And think about it in terms also as the newbie, because a lot of people are going to be watching this, and they haven't been able to separate in their minds what is it about blockchain that makes it of value to the participants versus a regular tech build out. So we're going to go this time. We're going to go Jomari, Edwardo, and Cash. Jomari.
Yeah. For me, from my perspective, we'll take like the most popular games out there, like Fortnite or Apex Legends, which allows you to buy skins or acquire skins for your characters, and there's other microtransactions in the game. However, all those digital assets that you have, those skins, those layers, those items, they belong wholly and fully to the company. The only way that you can access that, what you earned, quote unquote, is by going through their servers. So if they ever shut down the servers, your assets are gone. If they ever decide to retroactively change to some aspect of how it looks or how it functions, that they're capable of doing that without your say-so or control. What digital assets, blockchain-related assets allow you to do is actually take ownership of those things and be able to keep them in your control. So you decide if you want to participate in whatever the next evolution of that network looks like. Or if you want to take it to somewhere else and create some new experience from that asset, whether it's a skin or an item, you can do that. So if you want to create a whole new game and then use that item that you earned in that new game, you can do that. You can't do that with the existing systems that are centralized to the game creator.
Edwardo?
Well, with me, it was more searching for an additional stream of revenue. Now, with our alpha test that we did for Cinemadraft, we ran it, an MVP version for about 11 months back in 2017, and it did fine. We got a lot of data, it did great, and we always kind of designed it to be a free-to-play game, and the economy of that from our different revenue models would get us, the maximum possibility is probably max up at maybe $40 million a year in revenue if we were fully funded, had a full-time staff, et cetera, et cetera. But as an African-American founder, we founded, less than 1% of most founders in the venture capital space, what have you. We did not get our funding, and I stumbled across the whole Power of Weak Hands P3D token model back in, I believe it was 2017, 2018, and I was blown away by the economics of it, how it works. It was really popular within those who knew, and the whole idea of a self-perpetuating token that gained value the longer you hold on to it, as long as there are transactions going back and forth from it, really made sense to me. And I just thought, well, what if we applied that to an in-app token model, just like a Farmville or anything where you get coins or whatever to get services or play games? Why not apply that to Cinemadraft? And from that economic model, now instead of looking at capping out maybe 40 million, a year, looking at hundreds of millions of dollars a year if once this thing scales up. So mine was, so besides the fascination, for the last 7-8 years in blockchain, and well, before it's being called blockchain, it's called Bitcoin. I also saw this as a really viable way to self-fund my own project.
Okay, Cass?
Yeah, so just to camel back off of some earlier things that were said, I think that it's really important that we emphasize that you can self-fund on this value layer, right? Because as you mentioned, the previous speaker, there is this, this myth, and I kind of want to attack this myth and break it down about underrepresented founders not getting access to capital. Right now, we're funded, we're backed up by initialized capital. That's the the incubator that we're currently in. So there are companies being funded, and we're making money. Like we're making sales. So a sustainable business has to have sales, and that's what I think people need to be enlightened about. Is that you have the capability to deliver a product directly to consumer with a built-in value layer. And what's even more key and critical about that is it creates a whole virtual economy that you can participate in without the cost of overhead that it normally takes to run a brick and mortar company, brick and mortar businesses. At NFTyco, by the way, what we're doing in our model is we're offering ourselves as the tool set to onboard folks. Because right now we see education of the population who probably will benefit the most, right? People who buy physical sneakers that they don't even wear, and they're using them as collectibles and as an appreciating asset class. So we see the natural progression of this is to bring them into the digital world, and that's where we come in. That's where NFTyco comes in. A little bit of my background is I worked on BEP7 for Binance Chain, and having the ability to have on-chain NFTs to definitely speed up the applications that we can develop and build upon.
Great segue, because my very next question, starting with Cash, and we'll go to Jomari, and we'll just ignore Edwardo. NFTs! Since the two of you have some type of non-fungible token, what is it in plain English, and why do you have it as a part of your business model?
So an NFT is just this non-fungible token. Fungibility is exchangeable one for one. Like I have one's gold, one's black. It's not fungible, right? Because if I give you a gold marker and then you say, hey, wait, this one's black, it's not interchangeable. So that's not fungible, basically. So what NFTs are in plain English is, imagine if, you had a CD, right? And you put some data, some information, whether it's a song, whether it's an album, whether it's a collection of albums and mixtapes, it could be a DVD. You can put media and data on this object. So that's essentially, if you think about an NFT, that's what it does. Like, the NFT could be an asset itself. It could be like a coagulation of different assets. Basically, it could be a GIF. It could be a spinning sneaker with music in the background. It could be a ticket to a online virtual streaming platform.
So some type of unique creative.
Yeah, it's a representation of a unique, rare, because the concept of rarity and limited editions and customizable things being a collectible object itself, it represents that on the blockchain with a hash. I mean, the hash can be, cross-analyzed and add metadata to it, and that's how we create applications.
Okay, so Jomari, why are NFTs important to Finite Games? Sorry about that. That's my clock. That tells us we got about 10 minutes left. But basically to explain to me why NFTs are important to your business model, in particular, Rochambeau, and anything else you might be developing, and why you went in that direction. Just give it a second. It's gonna ring like 3 times. Because 1, 2,
No,
3.
the
Go ahead. Go ahead.
the unique digital objects are non-fungible tokens. At the end of the day, it's like they're unique, and also they're not divisible. Like they're the smallest existing unit of that thing. And the reason it's important for what we're developing at Finite Games is because we believe that the entire economic system that we exist inside the real physical world that we live in is dependent on this supply and demand, is dependent on the existence of things that we want, things that we use and convert into other resources. And within our gameplay, those are some of the, for me at least historically, those have been some of the most fun experiences that I've had when the resources that I have to leverage are limited. Like when I played Resident Evil, one of the things that always stood out to me was how hard it was to find these little plants that allowed me to get my health back. So I'm existing in how few bullets and how precious those bullets I had to kill zombies in the game. And I was really careful about what I did with those few objects that I had. And then when I play games like XCOM, which is kind of this this perma-life gameplay where you're playing this strategy game and you have these characters and then they exist, but when they die, they're dead. That's it. So you build up all these stats to them, but if you use them wrong, that's the end. And you start to get an attachment, and there's more value that you start associating with these items, these people that you interact with, that you grow with through the experience. And then when something happens to them, it means more to you. And this NFTs and decentralized ledgers and gameplay in this area allows those type of experiences to become more robust and have a global nature to them and exist outside of just the world of the initial creator, but to evolve into something even more interesting. There's like this aspect of emergent behavior that you can now start to develop. And to me, that's extremely exciting and interesting. So that's the place that NFTs play, because it provides this space for scarcity, consumption, and an increase of value based upon the way that people play. And now that you have this multiplayer environment, now you have emergent behaviors that start happening and different systems of value that are colliding into this same ecosystem. I don't know. I find that dope.
All right, Edwardo, your Cinemadraft focuses on a predictions model. I don't see you, Edwardo, so I don't know what's happening.
Hold on, one should be back here.
There you go. You're back.
Okay.
All right. So your Cinemadraft focuses on a predictions model. What is the stickiness for your in terms of you trying to reach your ideal game player? What do you think is the stickiness of this predictions level of gaming?
How do we intend to make Cinemadraft sticky? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So exactly. How is that the allure of predictions gaming? Because people know predictions gaming, at least offline, a lot with fantasy sports. So what is your game plan in terms of introducing this new version that focuses on the film or Hollywood industry? How are you going to lure in people with this type of gaming?
Well, we use a lot of similar concepts that have been developed through traditional DFS, daily fantasy sports, like salary cap model. You can have X amount of imaginary dollars to spend on your cast or your call sheet, your lineup. We try to keep the game updated throughout the run of the game to kind of create a similar, as we say in the DFS community, create like a sweat, because that's the best part about playing daily fantasy sports, when you're watching a basketball game and you could be a shot or a rebound away from winning from winning hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars to nothing. That's kind of the thrill of fantasy gaming. So we try to keep the stats updated throughout the run of the games, which is different when you're dealing with box office results or content ratings or what have you. But we find a way. That's one way. But also with the whole DApp side, the DApp smart contract token market, which is it's really highly networked in itself. So anytime there's a P3D like game where the tokens have that 10% or some sort of like fee that helps create dividends for token holders, they all tell each other about it. They all want to be first in, and what happens a lot of times is there's a lot of pump and dumps where people will plow into the newest thing, watch it get up to a certain height, and then sell all their tokens once the tokens reach a certain height. As to kind of combat that, the fact that our game are starting off weekly, and once we scale up, hopefully daily, once we have the staff power for it, having a consistent flow of content as far as the different games, different player pools and talent, and also using what we're calling CD3D. That's our version of the P3D token. Using that in-app, using P3D, having CD3D go out from the game into the contract to players who either want it and are selling it off for Tron. We're going to be based on the Tron blockchain. Also, as a company, buying more CD3D to put into games to offer them out as prizes, as well as people who own CD3D putting it onto the platform to play more CD3D will create a virtuous cycle so that hopefully we can avoid most pump and dumps and keep the value of the token, if not stable, which I'm not really interested in stable. I'd actually like to see it go higher, because at its height, P3D in its contract, it went from I think 12,000 ETH in its contract about April of that year, kind of puttering along. They introduced a new game for it in July, and it's shot to 80,000 ETH like in a weekend. I was making, I didn't have very much in there. I was making like a few $1,000s a day for 3-4 days because of the volatility. And then someone dumped and it went back down, and now it's fairly stable. So hopefully we can avoid huge valleys, mostly peaks, whatever, by having consistent flow of economy between the game and the decentralized app contract.
Good. Final question, and we're going to go Edwardo, Jomari, and Cash on this one. Tell me what stage your startup is right now. If I'm a game player, what do I need to know to participate in your product? How do I go about doing it? And then you can also close out with, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way to reach you online?
Okay, well, right now we are in production, as we like to say, redeveloping the site for a decentralized app experience, as well as pivoting towards streaming content while the theaters are out. So you can find out more information at cinemadraft.co, at cinemadraft.co. And as far as the decentralized app portion of it, which in our research we found that 78% of people who aren't familiar with the token itself were interested in playing for a game for cryptocurrency. So that really kind of made us press forward to making this reality. We also have a landing page for the white paper at cd3d.app. So that's cd3d.app, and you can go there to find out more about our plans for our decentralized app smart contract token.
Thank you, Edwardo. Jomari.
Yes. So we are currently working on Watchtower Alpha. We did a pre-alpha testing session with over 100 different people for about 1,000 plus hours of gameplay and mechanic testing. And now we're looking to really nail down our implementation, refactoring to some of the code and some of the issues that we faced. So if you want more information, you either check us out on Twitter, our Facebook, or for Finite Games, as well as Finite.Games online to subscribe to the newsletter, and then you'll get updates to that. Or you can just follow me, Jomari, JOMARI_P on Twitter. I talk about the work I'm doing all the time, or the medium. The
medium. Cash. Can't hear you. Did you mute yourself? You muted yourself. Hello. Can't hear you. There you go. Start all over again.
Okay. So, is it okay if I play a video?
Sure. Go right ahead.
Okay.
Hey guys, you're losing.
People buying physical sneakers that they don't even wear, using it as collectibles and as an appreciating asset. The natural progression of this is to bring them into the digital world, which is exactly where we come in.
Okay. I'm back. So yeah, you can check out NFTyco. Where the sneaker cred. Sneaker cred is spelled SNEAKRCREAD.com. And you can reach out to me on Twitter, on Instagram, under either Sneaker Cred on Twitter, or Sneaker Cred Inc. Sneaker Cred _ Inc. on Instagram.
And spell sneaker cred because they're gonna spell it wrong.
I know. It's SN. Here, let me just put it
Show
up.
it, right.
It's SNEAKR. Here, this is how you spell it.
There you go. There's no ER.
Yeah.
It's KRCRED. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just want to be clear, I did cop a pair of those shoes.
What?
Yeah, that's right.
No.
That's right. Yeah. Damari did get. He got a blueprint of it.
Oh my goodness. Well, guys, I mean, this is way too short as compared to what it should be, but I am grateful for your time, giving about an hour of your time to give some students, some adults, anyone who's interested in blockchain, an idea of what it's like to be in this new space that encompasses blockchain technologies and gaming. I know that Cash's products is built on Ethereum. Edwardo already mentioned Tron, and Jomari, you're on Tron as well, right?
As long as they plan on providing support, I'm going to whoever gives me the most money. So anybody that builds with Solidity, I'm open to working on your network.
Okay, all right. No, he's open. He's going to be atomic swap and everything. So thanks again for your time. Again,
Thanks,
we'd like to thank Mousebelt as well as Reimagine 2020, and hopefully all the students that are watching can reach out to these startup developers if you want to contribute in any way your development skills to their projects, or just have a general interest in having a mentorship relationship, that you do that. And we also I like to close out by mentioning that Black people in cryptocurrency is still looking to help students at HBCU. Since Jomari is wearing his Howard shirt, we do have a relationship with some students at Howard.
went
Enter
to Morehouse.
into the blockchain. Oh yeah, Edwardo went to Morehouse. We cannot put in the house. That's right. A lot of startup founders have HBCU backgrounds. So we definitely want to connect HBCU students with startup founders that are in the space, that are from their backgrounds, and those that are not from their backgrounds, so that we can bring more people into this technology. So unless anybody has any closing words, we're ready to close out. All right. Thank you.
Deidra.
Thank you.